Star Wars. Everybody's at least heard about it. From sequels to spin-offs to TV shows, it's everywhere. And right when you think it's gone, it shows right back up again at the center of pop culture. But why? To understand, one need only look at my favorite and the best Star Wars film, The Empire Strikes Back.
The Empire Strikes Back. Do you think this is going to be as big as Star Wars?
Bigger!
Widely considered the quintessential Star Wars movie, referenced for decades in all corners of culture, Empire follows Luke, Leia, and Han after the events of the previous film. Han and Leia are forced to go on the run from the Empire as Luke travels to a distant planet to learn the ways of the Force and the Jedi from an old master. While Luke faces the trials and challenges of his training, Han and Leia are hunted down by the Empire while a romance develops between the two. When Han and Leia are finally captured by Darth Vader, Luke leaves his training to help his friends, and walks right into a trap.
Luke, don't it's a trap!
And a climactic showdown with Vader himself. This movie's impact on filmmaking and how it revolutionized special effects, something its predecessor started, set new standards in the medium. Never before seen methods of crafting a scene, its effects, and delivering the narrative beats and revelations within it have become standards in the industry today. But beyond all this, Empire seems to handle what are considered to be the central ideas of Star Wars the best. Themes of love, loyalty, friendship, betrayal, and family are all delivered in an expertly crafted film with a relatively darker tone that sets it apart. A lot of these themes are universal and have been explored to great lengths in all sorts of art mediums beyond film itself. So what makes Empire special? A particular scene right around the film's transition into the third act involves Luke leaving his training to rescue Han and Leia. Yoda, later joined by the ghostly form of Obi-Wan, warn him of what leaving his training would mean.
Luke, you must complete the training.
I can't keep the vision out of my head. They're my friends. I gotta help them.
You must not go.
But Han and Leia will die if I don't.
You don't know that. Even Yoda cannot see that fate.
Not nearly the most exciting thing in Empire, this scene does do a lot in setting up what's at stake in the third act while also displaying the elements that set the movie apart. Specifically, the style of the scene's location, Dagobah, illustrates the film's mixture of science fiction and fantasy elements. The opposing sides of this discussion, Luke and Yoda along with Obi-Wan, are framed by these respective styles. Luke in his flight suit prepares his X-Wing for takeoff, accompanied by his loyal droid R2-D2, while Yoda and Obi-Wan sit opposed from him, dressed in robes surrounded by the mysterious, foggy plant life of the planet that very much makes it feel like another world. The positioning of these characters in this way also works to visually communicate the conflict between them. Luke wants to leave to help his friends. Yoda and Obi-Wan warn him not to, feeling the dangers are too great.
But I can help them. I feel the Force.
But you cannot control it. This is a dangerous time for you, when you will be tempted by the dark side of the Force.
Yes. To Obi-Wan you listen. The cave. Remember your failure at the cave.
But I've learned so much since then. Master Yoda, I promise to return and finish what I've begun. You have my word.
These characters are left on consistently opposed sides of the screen, with cuts to close-ups and new camera angles maintaining this visual opposition, something repeated throughout the film. As the characters go back and forth, the editing prioritizes reactions to lines that hold more weight, emphasizing the beats of the exchange and the characters' feelings regarding it.
I cannot interfere.
I understand. R2, fire up the converters.
What these characters are discussing directly involves those themes from earlier. Luke's loyalty to his friends.
I can't keep the vision out of my head. They're my friends. I gotta help them.
Obi-Wan's warning of temptation by the dark side of the Force.
This is a dangerous time for you, when you will be tempted by the dark side of the Force.
Luke's promise to return and to remain dedicated to his training.
Master Yoda, I promise to return and finish what I've begun. You have my word.
Obi-Wan's insistence on not being able to interfere if Luke were to face Vader, foreshadowing the big reveal later.
If you choose to face Vader, you will do it alone. I cannot interfere.
And, most importantly, parallels between Luke and Darth Vader are being drawn here, a relationship that's been continually foreshadowed in the film.
Luke, I don't want to lose you to the Emperor the way I lost Vader.
Among this foreshadowing is that of a dark turn for Luke, something set up in the cave scene from earlier in the film, explored here in Yoda and Obi-Wan's warning,
It is you and your abilities the Emperor wants.
and brought to the front in the major revelation of the third act.
No, I am your father.
All of this extends beyond this film into the following one, Return of the Jedi, as seen in its third act involving Luke having to face this temptation and possibly turning to the dark side in the process. The stakes being set up with this scene of Luke's departure are intertwined with the themes of the film. Its ideas are earnest, the importance of friendship and family, light versus dark. Come the climactic showdown and Vader's big reveal, though, these themes are forced under pressure because of the implications of this moment, making for an iconic and subversive ending that still resonates today. But this all begins with this scene that does the crucial work in setting the stage for this ending. A lot of what's put into and what's going on within these scenes is taken for granted because we've been exposed to them and these moments in so many parts of our culture. Scenes like the Battle of Hoth, Yoda's training, and Luke and Vader's showdown are all things many people have been exposed to in some capacity before ever actually seeing the movie. So when watching it, the awareness of these iconic moments might distract from the effectiveness and subtlety of the writing, directing, cinematography, and editing on display here and what it's accomplishing in between the lines. Like I said before, Empire's third act is where all of what makes this movie work comes together to cement it as a classic. The scene where Han is frozen in carbonite stands out as one of the most memorable in the movie for a lot of reasons. The set and the way it's decorated, lit, and shot create a visually striking sequence with dramatic shadows, colors, contrast, and composition. Some of the most memorable characters in pop culture, Han, Leia, Lando, Chewbacca, C-3PO, Boba Fett, and Darth Vader, are all here and playing off one another in a tense, gripping, and emotional scene, giving us some of the most iconic lines from the film in the process.
I love you.
I know.
All that's being done for this to work so well can easily be overlooked because, oh look, this is the part where Han gets frozen. An audience who has been made hyper-aware of these moments and beats within the film and has preconceived notions about it might not recognize immediately that scenes like these don't become so iconic at random, at least not for the most part. We don't get these iconic lines, moments, and characters without the careful craft that makes them so engaging and memorable for an audience in the first place.